Hey guys, MaliciousCompliance here, and today I'm hopping back into r/MaliciousCompliance for day number 12, almost 2 weeks. Oh my goodness, that is ridiculous. And we're going to be starting to look more towards the top of the all-time stuff. Not the very top though, we'll save that for the very last episode, the last story that I read, because why not? It'd be like the pinnacle of r/MaliciousCompliance at the end. But let's look at the two below it first. First is an image. My wife. A Venice Wayne smartass. This is this is America. We use H here. Sorry. uh That is just. Is that the A? It's a H. Although I'm gonna call out the American in this situation, be like, this is America. You speak American here, basically. Like, really offensive. Landlord advertises all our company's equipment for sale to our competitors. Best follow our fiction to the letter. Okay. I work for a leisure company. Think soft play, indoor soccer, laser tag, campy Pacific. Prior to lockdown, managers and the big bosses were negotiating the renewal of the lease on one of our parks. Things were going mostly smoothly. However, the landlords were difficult to contact. Then 2020's shit hit the fan. All of our sites were closed, and everything was thrown into a mess. Negotiations began to slip down the priority list. Nobody thought the landlord would push an eviction for an expired lease during this period, especially with it still getting rent despite the site's closure, and the closure of every business and restaurant in the immediate area. We were wrong. A few days ago, we received a letter saying we had 7 days to leave the premises and take everything with us. We are reminded that everything left in the building after 7 days will become the landlord's property. That line is very important. Now, a lot of construction goes into installing equipment into a new building, which makes emptying one even harder. At a lockdown, with no staff and most businesses shut, it means that saving much of our assets would prove to be extremely difficult. To lose a profitable site and all of its assets is definitely a blow to our company. But here is where it gets worse. A few days into our 7-day eviction, we find out that the landlord has been advertising our park to our competitors. He isn't just offering the building, he is offering all of our stuff pre-installed, ready to go. Just needs rebranding. The landlord has evicted us from the property in an attempt to increase rent and make a solid profit from our equipment installed because he thinks we won't be able to empty the park. We are furious. And here is where the malicious compliance comes in. We were told we had 7 days to move everything we owned out of the property. So that's what we did. Local businesses from all around offered up free space to store our things. A few people came back out of lockdown and spent the rest of the week removing, selling, or destroying everything that was related to us. We didn't even leave light fittings. In every other site vacation we have seen, we always end up leaving thousands of dollars worth of disco lights in the ceiling because they're too hard to get. We leave most of the construction in, as well as things like the bars and kitchens that all stay intact, recognizable as what they once were. But not this building. We ripped up the flooring we installed, tore down the walls that were not part of the original structure, wooden walls to divide up the space, ripped apart a manager's office and removed all artwork and lockers. The landlord now has every new deal he has been making dead in the water. A large renovation bill to install new flooring, etc. Or a company willing to do it themselves like we were. Lockdown has been extended another 4 weeks, so he has at least another 4 weeks without rent. We were paying, and won't have any potential buyers. The silver lining. The assets we got out of the site, fridges, TVs, equipment, food, tables, have all been sold, and the lack of rent and additional income has helped the business and paid staff wages. Now for the update. Hi everyone, I'm so sorry for how long an update has taken. I was waiting for things to unfold. So here's what happened next. We handed in the keys and it was probably the quickest handover we've ever had. The landlord clearly didn't want to make any kind of conversation, and there was definitely an elephant in the room. But he definitely said nothing about the lack of our equipment. Complications did arise when we went back to get back various deposits, but he had no case to withhold the deposits from us as the building was in excellent shape. We had conducted much of the maintenance work ourselves, so the building was in a significantly better condition than we found it. We also cleaned up 99% of the rubbish and dirt from our demolition crusade, so he couldn't bill us for cleaning. A very minor bit of pressing from our legal team meant that we received everything owed back in full. The building is still vacant, and as of yet, we don't know of any potential buyers. At this moment in time, our company is still standing despite the pandemic closures and lack of business. Staff are still employed and doing well. A huge thanks again for everyone who took the time to read this, and to those who are dedicated enough to remind me for updates. Big shout out as well to the amazing people who gave me awards. I really appreciate it. I've been making sure to pass on the good karma. This is just a nice one. It's just like, you want to kick us out of a building? We'll clean it out for everything that we own. And you're not going to see that much money from it. My neighbors wanted to call a professional to mark their property line. My parents agreed. This was a long time ago, but I remember it clearly. We moved into a community with tight space in between our house and our neighbors. We didn't like them being able to see into our kitchen. We put up a bunch of plants costing thousands, but my parents thought it would be worth it. A week later, my parents awoke to the plants completely chopped down. Wow. My father was furious and marched down to our neighbor's house. He told me the plants were on his property line. Therefore, he had total right to take them down. He warned if anything were to go on his property again, he would report us to the authorities immediately. Later that day, my father called the company that put in the plants, and with the warranty, we could have them replanted next week for no charge. We made sure there was no way it was on our neighbor's property. However, a few days later, we caught him chopping them down at 2 a.m. We called the police upon obstruction of property, and after a chat, my neighbor decided to call a professional and mark his property line. My father agreed. A few days later, I got home to find orange tape in my neighbor's yard. Apparently, his fence was 11 feet over our property line. We watched as he took down his fence, completely furious. Within the next month, we were enjoying a new space in the privacy in our backyard, and my neighbor ended up losing 1/4 of his backyard. My neighbor ended up having to pay almost $10,000 for the destruction of our property, and we got to plant our plants again. 11 feet though. Jeez. He lost 11 feet of his backyard. Because he's like, yeah, let's get someone out here to mark the property line. But 11 feet. That is a big distance. Cause isn't a foot I know a foot's 12 inches, and 12 inches is like 30 centimeters. So that's 3.3 meters. Wow. Dude, that's what you get. You lose a quarter of your backyard because you were messing with someone else's plants. Security made us show the last 5 photos on our phone. My co-worker, an absolute hero, maliciously complied at security on one of our subcontractor jobs. I am sorry, I can't speak my English, apparently. The customer was a manufacturer of high-end electronic components. Security was tight as a small 4-inch by 6-inch box could contain $250,000 worth of microchips. Our team was installing equipment in their facility for 1 week. A security checkpoint had to be passed every trip in or out of the building. Mr. Security Guard, Chad maybe, decided my co-worker, Steve probably, was more suspicious than the other 4 techs. So every trip in or out, not only was Steve made to dump his entire contents of his backpack out on the table and go through it, Chad required Steve to show him the last 5 pictures taken on his phone to prove he wasn't stealing secrets. This is all fine, except Chad lets everyone else through without any sort of inspection. Steve is trying to stay positive, but obviously this is eating away at him. Steve tries to be overly positive and also a bit snarky with the comments like, "Thank you, Paul Blart, for keeping America safe," which busts up the rest of our crew. Then Steve has the idea that will free him the rest of the week. Wednesday comes along. Steve is overly scrutinized on our way in as usual. As we head to security at lunch, Steve has to go to the bathroom. He comes back a few minutes later, absolutely giddy. Chad Blood Ball Cup stops us on our way out and asks Steve to see his camera roll. Steve gladly hands the phone over. Chad is greeted by some very peculiarly angled shots of Steve's butthole. What the fuck? Chad throws the phone down on the table. "Oh, sorry. I thought I had a hemorrhoid and wanted to see how bad it was. Is that okay with the pictures? Is the facility safe?" Chad never checked Steve's materials again. Good on you, Steve. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. The last 5 pictures are of Steve's ass. It's like, just like going to the bathroom. That's apparently the sound I make when a picture's been taken. It's just like, oh god. There we go. Hey, you could have gone one further and done the dick. It's like, it's just like, oh, I was just checking my dick for any STDs. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm making myself lose it. I'm gonna have to end the episode here. Oh my god. It's a short one, but don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. A ding, ding. Links to both the channels in the description. I'm Mad Scientist out.